afternoon. I'm Kevin Gallick. I'm the principal of Washington High School. What a beautiful video, right? We've already asked permission, and we will be using that video to help people understand what we do at the school. So I'm the proud principal of Washington High School, the school that's pictured in this amazing video, and I'm really grateful for the partnership with CAPE, and I'm grateful for your contribution to Chicago Public Schools. This is now my 6th year as the principal of Washington High School, my 15th year serving students and families in Chicago Public Schools, and it's been a pretty good ride. I did not grow up in Chicago. I went to high school in the northwest suburbs. I was fortunate enough to say that I always attended, well-resourced schools. I always attended schools that everyone says was a good school. That was a great, resource for me and my development as a young person. We all know that going to a school where you think it's a great place that just naturally supports the children. I chose a career in urban education because I wanted to help try to close this opportunity gap. Because the reality is that it's the reality that many of our students deal with in Chicago is, this equality of opportunity is, evaporating for many students and families. So I wanted to address the gap between the experience of students like me who grew up in well-resourced, highly effective, high reputation schools and other schools that might have been ineffective, poorly run, poorly resourced. And I've been doing this for 15 years, and I'm here to tell you, we can make a difference. We can make a difference. But closing an opportunity gap is a heavy lift. My school has been more successful than most. The academic and post-secondary gains that have occurred at Washington High School in recent years are some of the strongest in Chicago Public Schools. And North Grand's done very well too. We're actually partners. And we're committed to continued improvement. However, the bottom line is that the opportunity gap between my students who reside on the southeast side and other more privileged students is significant. And this is especially true when we think about family enrichment expenditures. I think everyone's kind of aware of this, but people in the upper quartile are able to spend like $10,000 a year on their kids. People in the bottom quartile economically, it's like $1,500. That's a big difference when you're trying to close a gap. And then social capital and political capital that resides in a community, it's very difficult for some communities to even begin a school improvement process. So this is where CAPE comes in. CAPE has provided Washington High School with direct support for our students so that they can benefit from some of the high-quality enrichment activities that we all want for our children. In addition, CAPE has provided direct supports to parents at Washington High School so that they can more deeply engage in their children's education, in their own development, and in the development of the community. There is no way that Washington could have become who we are, nor could we continue to aspire to be great, which we do, without CAPE's influence on student and parent engagement. So I want to talk about two big chunks, those two, student engagement and parent engagement. So CAPE works directly with our teachers. So they partner with our teachers to provide like really amazing after-school programs, and actually there are other things that happen during the school day, but I'm going to focus right now on the outside of the school day. Everything from drama to bio arts. I don't know if you saw that picture of a GW Washington. They're out in the courtyard and just these are partnerships between teachers, students, and CAPE teaching artists, and they've just created a really robust learning community after school. Through this partnership, Washington has become much more vibrant and welcoming community. In this way, it's useful to think of school improvement as gardening. We all know that it takes much work to get the garden up and going. My wife is a gardener, and I have to contribute as her husband. It takes a lot of work every single spring. And it takes even more work if that garden has not been worked in years. Many of us take this aspect of schooling, like enrichment activities, for granted, because many of us, I can only speak for myself, grew up in established high reputation schools. with established enrichment activities. Washington did not have an established enrichment program. By partnering with CAPE, we were able to cultivate a vibrant and supportive community in an ecosystem which was not supporting students in the way that they needed to be supported. CAPE's artists and our teachers have cultivated their garden over the past 4 years, and now it has become alive and fully functioning, as you could see in the video. And there's much more that you didn't see in the community of. So 3535 East 114th Street, feel free to stop by whenever you like. But as we all know, the work of the gardener is never done. So now I want to talk to you a little bit about parent activities. And this is maybe the most surprising and piece of this partnership for me. So one of the most unexpected but beautiful aspects of our partnership with CAPE has been the parent engagement work. Parent involvement is just one of those things that I took for granted as a child growing up. That is not the case in all CPS high schools, and it's certainly not the case at Washington. I don't really think we understood at Washington what some of the barriers would have been to a high level of parent engagement. There are numerous. I was just talking with Palmera on the way down here today, whether it's language or a perceived gap around language, whether it's just cultural, where, many Latino parents might think that by age 15, the child deserves more independence. And I even talked to my own mom, and she pulled away a little bit at high school. But we really need the parents and the communities to be much more involved in the school. So together with our staff member, Palmera Perez, CAPE created a space for parents like Aurora, whose son is now a freshman at, what's the Catholic school on the southwest side? St. Xavier, thank you. Whose son's now a freshman at St. Xavier, to find their own creative side and to build relationships with other parents so that they could not only feed themselves, but establish relationships so that they could be more of a political force at their own school. Through our parent group, we've not only provided parents with a space so that they can support each other, CAPE has fostered a more engaged parent community, which can advocate for the needs of the students. In fact, a number of our local school council members came from this group. And I believe this was the original vision of local school councils 30 years ago, was democratic local control. It's just some of the neighborhoods like Washington didn't have the social resources to have robust local control. We do now. While it was certainly true that we needed to cultivate an environment for students to thrive, we also needed to cultivate a community where parents could feel more welcome and where parents could have a voice. I'm proud to say that with our partnership with CAPE, we've done that. Parent voice is a hallmark of well-resourced, high-reputation schools, and CAPE is working with us to cultivate parent voice through our parent group. So this is just another way that CAPE is helping us to close this opportunity gap. So now I'd like to close by first saying thank you to Amy, to Joey, who actually serves on our senior leadership team. He's an important member of the guiding vision at our school. Scott, and all the CAPE teaching artists, and of course everybody in the room. CAPE has been and continues to be a critical partner and a resource in our school improvement efforts. Together we're making a difference. And I tried to resist numbers, but I'll throw out some numbers right now. In fact, over the past 5 years, we have increased the graduation rate at Washington High School from 61% to 82%. Our college enrollment rate has increased from 35% to 59%. And these results are especially remarkable because we're doing it all with the same students and families. We're not importing new kids to the southeast side. And the poverty level is unchanged. In fact, it might even be a little bit worse. So same students, better outcomes. Over the next 3 years, our goal is to increase graduation rates to 90% and college enrollment rates to 70%. However, closing these opportunity gaps are very difficult, but we're confident that with CAPE in our corner, we can do it. So thank you very much.